Okay. Uh, so we are starting a new series on Chodosh. And Chodosh is obviously nowadays a big issue in Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael, the entire country, is on a uh, non-Chodosh basis, which actually is a great credit to the state of Israel that the entire state keeps Chodosh. Um, at the Chutz La'aretz, it's an issue of tremendous um, controversy. For many years, nobody kept Chodesh Chutz La'aretz, basically, during the last 150 years, from the time of uh, the Briskers coming on the scene, it's become more and more popular. And today, there are many people, even Chutz La'aretz, who are conducting themselves with Chodesh, do keep this with Chodesh. It's important to note historically, and this is the reason why it has not gone on even more so, is that the Hasidim, going back to the Baal Shem Tov, are famously lenient about Chodesh. So therefore, of course, since that's the case, Chodesh has not caught on Chutz La'aretz completely because obviously many of the chumas which are in vogue in Chutz La'aretz are things which originated from the Hasidim and then spread on from them. Things which not emanate from the Hasidim and spread on from them did not really catch up as being catch on as being chumas to the same extent. That's just the nature of the sociology of orthodoxy. Okay, that being said, so we are now going to prove that the Isra of Chodesh Chutz La'aretz and its Heterim through via the Aruch HaShulchan. And the Aruch HaShulchan is in Simrei Side Gimel, or Yerdea, Din Isra Chodesh Kodem LaOmer. Aleph, Ksiva Parshas Emor, Ki Savol La'aretz Tzartemis Kitzira, Bebesim Omer Yisis Kitzirchem Gomer, V'lechem V'koli V'kamel Lo Tuchlu Ad Etzma Yom Hazeh Ad Yom Abiachem Es Korban Elokechem, Chugazom Darosechem V'chol Moshvosechem. V'machal Lechem V'koli V'kamel Kodem LaOmer Lokeh Sholosh Malkios. Okay, so there are three lavin involved, and you get three malkios, three sets of lashes. If you ate a kazayas of each type of a grain, in other words, these are not types of grain, but rather types of processes. Apply the grain. Lechem, koli, v'karmel. Lechem is bread, koli is toast, and karmel means soft grain. Seems to be raw grain. Uh, even though we're reading one lav, and there's a malchus, you get malchus in each one. One of them is superfluous. Like it says in Gemara there, you could have learned one out of the other two, and therefore, if all three are listed, it must be that you need to have malchus on each. You get malchus each and every one. That when the day comes, which is the day after the first day of Pesach, the first day Chol Moed in Eretz Yisrael, the second day Yom Tov in Chutz La'aretz. When that day comes, Hutar Chodesh. But then it says afterwards, until you bring the korban, which means that it's not mutter when the day comes, but only mutter when the korban is brought. Which one is it? So they say raise the korban matcha bein ein beis hamikdash kayim. The first part of pasuk is when there is no beis hamikdash. The lake of korban, when there's no korban, does itzumo shel yom matir. Then the day itself is what permits you to eat chodesh. The Sefer Mayim is matcha beis hamikdash kayim. Then it's about the time when the beis hamikdash is exists, extant. Does also have korban shel omer matir. Then the korban of the omer permits the eating of chodesh. When is the korban brought? The 16th day of Nisan, from the day after Shabbos. Yinifenu HaKohen, the Kohen brings it and flourishes in the Beis HaMikdash. Uvar Kabbalah, and the Mesorah is Ad Moshe, going back to Moses, Mi Sinai, from Mount Sinai. It's not after Shabbos, Shabbos gracious, which is the way that Sadducees, that's the document interpreted, but rather after the first day of Pesach. Because Zayin Nisan Hutar Chodesh. According to strict law, although there's a matter of great controversy in the Gemara whether Midoraisa the entire day is also Midoraisa the entire day is mutter, but the sunrise permit the Chodosh, or the sunset permit Chodosh.
Right.
Nevertheless, the consensus is that Mikra Dink Shahir Mizrach B'Tetzayim Nisan, when the sun rises on the 6th day of Nisan, Hutzar Chodosh, and Rabbi Yochanan Ben Zakkai, he's going to say Yom HaNeif. Ben Zakkai came and made a decree that the day in which the Omer is flourished, Klomer Yom Tez Zayin, in other words, the 6th day of Nisan, Shem Nivim Bos Omer, in which we flourish. The Omer Kulo Asur, it is all forbidden. Anytime she's Barasham. Uva Rambam Perkid Melchos plus me Torah Asur Kol Yom Tez Zayin is Manazeh, because this is a matter of controversy in the Gemara. The Gemara indicate both ways. So the Rambam Paskin said the entire 16th day of Nisan is also in our day and age, Mida Raisa. That was according to the first opinion. It should be mutter in the morning, but the carbon, when there's a carbon omer, it remains usher until the carbon omer is brought. Second opinion holds that it should be usher the entire day. When the carbon omer is brought, it makes it a mutter earlier in the day. Okay, so those are the two different opinions. Lachain b'chutz la'aretz shosim shnei yomim Yontif. Today we're in Chutz to make 2 days. Yontif also gam b'yud zayin. It's also on the 17th ad la'erev midrabanan. We should have a suffix Torah. Chaim pasuk Rambam. So the Rambam, another indication of the Rambam is that in Chutz la'aretz not only is the 16th day of Nisan Asur, but the 17th day of Nisan is also because of suffix the Rabba, Speak of the Yom. Had a second day Yontif, so the Chutz la'aretz Chutz Chodosh would only be mutter the following day.
Well, that's only when the Sveka de Yom is a Sveka de Oraisa. Today it's not.
No, it'd be nice. It's still this is Rabbanon.
It's Rabbanon fine, but it's Rabbanon no problem.
No, because it's the Takana the Rabbanon. Since the second day Yontif is now Takana the Rabbanon, so Chodesh is also meet Rabbanon on the 7th day Nisan of Chutz la'aretz.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Being Chodesh now be sur gam b'chutz la'aretz. Well, is there Nisan Chodesh or Chutz la'aretz? This is a good question. Nechlaku chachamim. So parakamed kiddushin. So if you like to see that inside, we can see it inside. We'll put it up on the screen. Oops. Okay, just a second. What was that? This? Huh? Yeah. Okay. Call Mr. Shitli Ba'aretz. Parag Av Mishates of Hilchos in Masaj Tushin. Call Mr. Shitli Ba'aretz. Eno Heges El Ba'aretz. A mitzvah which is dependent on the land. It only applies in the land. One which does not apply to the land, the Heges Ben Ba'aretz Chutz la'aretz applies both in Eretz Yisrael and Chutz la'aretz. Chutz min about Kilayim. Except for Arla and Kilayim, which apply in Chutz la'aretz even though they are Tluya Ba'aretz.
Okay.
But Lezmer Ava Chodesh. It says Chodesh also applies to Chutz la'aretz even though it's Tluya Ba'aretz. So, number 4 here says in the Rambam Peirush HaMishnayos, V'alok Reb Lezer Shomer Chodesh also min haTorah b'chol mokom. B'achlu yishit Tluya Ba'aretz which is bar b'sov Meseches Arla. So the Rambam quite clearly paskins like the Rabbi Lezer, and the Rab says the same thing. Also, b'chodesh b'chutz la'aretz min haTorah abish chobas karka, despite the fact that it is a obligation which connects to the land. It says in all of your dwelling places, all of your habitations, you should not eat chodosh. All of your habitations also is the same language used for Shabbos, which you derive that Shabbos should be kept all over the world. So to Chodesh should be kept all over the world. Reb Lezer, this is the place Yotam we're seeing now. Lezer Afmin Afa Chodesh. It doesn't mean every place where Jews sit and inhabit. But rather comes to me that even Eretz Yisrael alone is chayv kol yudal shana shehayu bagilgo. In other words, the Isser Chodesh only became applicable
when they were done conquering the land.
down conquering land. You can call Echad Echad as Shalom. Mashkasav Arav Allah Rebelaz Chinkasav Ramam Zelshan Rifa Rosh Stam Tano Sasam Tano Kava Say Besop Maseches Orla. The Maseches Orla, this is the Stam Mishnah, which seems to paskin that they were Chodesh Nali B'Chutzlaretz. We will see this momentarily. Can't steer a divya kes Mishnah's concept the betray Sidra Ika Seder. There's a contradiction to the Kesef Mishnah writes that in two storm there's still a CH Seder LaMishnah. Because there was Seder LaMishnah and Orla comes before Kiddushin and Stam B'Charkach Machlokes Ein Halacha Kestam. Right? If you have a Stam Mishnah then Machlokes you don't paskin like the Stam Mishnah. So here obviously we have to say Ein Seder LaMishnah in order to paskin like the Mishnah and Orla.
Okay.
Which kind of a rich very bad. So the reason because Mishnah breaking milks my house. So Shachash Kosav Pasuk Stam Mishnah Kosav B'Nachos Beker Show Amrei the abundant Be'er Ravashi Sav Chosh Putzos the Raisa Adkat. So in fact there is a source in Menachos to say that from the Amoraim abundant Be'er Ravashi who Chosh the Raisa. Then we should say Tamal Rifa Rosh with the Perak Shmuel Daf Samches Rapav Ravuna Breda Ravuna Yeshua Kosav Chosh. Right? It's the riff, evidently the riff and the rush, right? That Ravuna and Rabbanon, and evidently they hold the mission Orlo as not determinative. Eldon and Islam Mabad. 1 second. Eldon and Islam the Mabad Rabbanon the Bay Rabajid Basra. But regardless, we got Rabban and Be'er who are the later sources, and we always go by Hilchos Basra. Halacha is always like the later sources, and since they say it's knowing Chutzlaretz, so therefore it's knowing Chutzlaretz. Okay. Tuika Asam the Rabbi Amar Shomer Lo Aim Shavi Svirale Chodesh B'Chutzlaretz Taraisa. Also, Ravina says that his mother, his nursemaid, told him that his father had said that Chodesh and Chutzlaretz Deraisa. And Ravina, since he held that way, he certainly is quoting this. He certainly must have held that way, and he is also even more basra to Ravashi, right? Even later, the Tmura. Okay, so therefore we see that the Yodim was saying that we paskin like the later Amoraim who hold the Chodesh is also in Chutzlaretz, right?
Okay.
This is now from the Lech Shlema. I'm not sure we have to see this. Mostly about Chala. Yeah, I don't think it's important for us purposes. Let's see the Yachin here. Afmina Chodesh. So here, our Pharisee takes issue.
Who is this?
Pharisee Yisrael.
Okay.
Says Afmina Chodesh. Kamla the Chodesh Mutar B'Chutzlaretz. All of a sudden, we find that the Chodesh is permissible Chutzlaretz. Very strange, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So even though it says let's I'm Chodesh, says Chodesh the Mutar. So in order he says I'm Perushin Chala Perak Aleph Mishnah Zayin. So it's worthwhile for us to probably go to Chala Perak Aleph Mishnah Zayin. Just a minute. I'm going there. I'm not sure exactly what this has to do with it. 1 second. Maybe it's in the Boaz there, because I don't see anything in the Yachin. 1 second.
Parak Aleph Mishnah Zayin.
Yeah, there's nothing there. No, there's nothing there. I don't know to what he was referring, but it might be in the Boaz. This program I have does not have the Boaz, which is the other part of the verse scroll. So it could be that it is in the Boaz. 1 second. But first, let's see the Mishnah Orla in any event. Okay, this is the Mishnah. It's test, right? Sabi Arban, so also Suya, Mutar, Chutzai, okay, Bilbachi, located with Karen Natul, Yarek, the Yarek Nimkar, Chutzla, Beretz, so also Suya, Mutar, Bilchutzai, located Bachelor, Yuva Biad, Chodosh, also Minatara, Bechol, Makam. This is what they're referring to, and they're saying it's Stam Mishnah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think that now I realize what the issue with challah is, because the verse here says also looking challah, but not Mishnah Zayin, but Siman Zayin, which makes a big difference. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The Pharisee Yisrael gives away a little bit of the in challah, which I'm going to come back to now. Gives away a little bit of the issue. This is in Mishnah Aleph. So it's not Mishnah Zayin, but Siman Zayin, right? Okay.
Siman Zayin mean Halacha Zayin in the Yerushalmi?
No. Siman Zayin is the Pharisee Yisrael. Do you see? And I have Mishnah Challah up.
I have the Kathati app on my phone, so.
Oh no, I thought I was sharing the screen. 1 second. Okay. Oh no, I have new share. Okay, 1 second. Okay, see Mishnah Challah? Mishnah Challah?
Mishnah Challah, yeah. Which Mishnah?
The first one.
Okay.
It's on your screen, right?
Yes.
So the beginning of the Mishnah says, Omer, if grain took root before the Omer Matir, and the Omer is Matir them. If not, it's us until the next Omer. Korban Omer is Matir Chodosh. It's only Matir grain which took root before the 16th day of Nisan.
Okay.
She has to be planted at least 3 days before Sphira, before the second day of Pesach.
Okay.
Because it takes 3 days to be Nishrash. Okay?
All right.
Zayin, Aser Sheva Omer Abad, so Mubar Tos Halolu. In our countries, where it's our entire sustenance is contingent on Chodosh, both in eating, that's obvious, right? And in drinking. What was the primary thing that they drank?
Whiskey.
Whiskey and
Beer.
Right. So therefore, Hitiu Rabbeinu, the rabbis permitted it. And the Pharisee Yisrael has this svara, which is not the only svara. But we'll go, since we're going in order in the Mishnayos, let's see what he says. Okay? This is not from the Gemara. It's from past the Gemara. Okay. It's because we have a Sveika. It's a Sveika. Savik Shatvua Me'eshtakat. Maybe it's from last year's grain. And if it's from this year's grain, but Savik Shushish Kota Omer, maybe it took root before the Omer. Now, this is not a real Sveika. Right? Because the minority of grain is from last year, right? And the majority of grain is from this year. So therefore, what do you mean it's maybe from last year? It's not a fake. It's go after the roof. Less grace than this year. So there's only one suffix. Did it take root before the Omer or not?
Right.
Al Kopanim, some rabbis say to Gamkin Adas Tanakam Rebbe Lezer. Our rabbis actually went back, skipping over the generations of Amoroim, back to the Tanoim to take into account the Rabbanu Arg and Rabbi Eliezer. They Chodesh Noi B'chutz Loretz. And Chodesh is not a plan Chutz Loretz. Milo Itmar B'Shas Behedia Hilchas Kaman. Because they don't find anywhere explicitly in the Gemara like whom we pass in. But only you find a Stam Mishnah Orla, which is called like Rabbi Eliezer. The Efshar the Orla Nishnes Kodim Kiddushin, as we saw in the Klesis Yontif. Perhaps Orla was what came before Kiddushin. So it's a Stam Rachakach Machlokas. We don't pass like a Stam Mishnah if the Stam preceded the Machlokas. This is down the name of the Taz. However, to harvest it, even if it definitely took root after a Pesach, so in Eretz Yisrael you would not be allowed to harvest it that year.
Right.
But it came in Omer Abba Mechutz, so it's actually because the Omer comes from only Eretz Yisrael because the Omer comes from Eretz Yisrael. So it has to be the first thing harvested. But in Chutz La'aretz, since Omer doesn't come to Chutz La'aretz, come Novus Peish Paraches. Mutzah Kotzer Kodim Pesach Haboy, allowed to harvest it before the coming Pesach. I'm Parasite Musafin Halachi Gimel. Okay, so the first heter we have seen here is from the Taz, the verse Yisrael brings down the Taz, which is that there's a dubious Sveika, and also that we link that to the fact that Tanakam argues Rabbi Eliezer. And we might add at this point, even though we haven't seen it side Rabbi Eliezer, we know is normally held to be a Shamuti from Beis Shammai. We don't pass like him. And also Chachamim seems to be a rove. So this is a unique phenomenon. If we do pass like Rabbi Eliezer, we're passing like a Shamuti who is also Das Yochid. And the question is why we would do that. And based on those two, so since we can go back and perhaps contend that the opinion of Tanakama should be taken into account, and there's something like a Sveika, therefore one can be lenient in Chutz La'aretz. This seems like a very thin reed on which to rely, right? Okay, so we can go further. We can continue next week.
Let's continue next week.
Okay.
All right, Shkoyach. This is
okay.
Interesting.
Good introduction, right?
Yes.
All right. To be continued, Be'ezus Hashem Yisborach.
Okay.
Okay, take care. Have a good week.
You too. Bye.